The Broncos gave all of us fans a wonderful Christmas gift, one of the best, beating the Chiefs and then later taking the title of AFC West champs. Joining us to break down that gift of a game and what's next for the team, we've got our Broncos insider Mike-Klis with Klis's Mic Drop. Hello, my friend.
Hey, what's going on? Yeah, it was quite the Christmas night gift for Broncos country. The Broncos held on to win that game 20-13. It was interesting. The key to that game was getting Chris Jones to jump offside. That allowed the Broncos, instead of settling for a field goal and a 16-13 lead with 1:45 to go, they were able to score a touchdown to go up 20-13. The Chiefs turned around and they went down to the 21-yard line of the Broncos, which is Harrison Butker field goal range. So without that, they would have kicked the field goal, a game-tying field goal at that point. The game would have gone to overtime. So I'm gonna give credit to Miners and R.J. Harvey for throwing the fake and getting Chris Jones to jump offside. That kept the drive alive. R.J. Harvey scored shortly after that. Kind of a not a bizarre, kind of a solid old-fashioned strategy employed by Sean Payton. It was turtle ball, inch by inch. Slowly, the Broncos went down the field on 4 different scoring drives against the Kansas City Chiefs, who played their number 3 quarterback, and Chris Oladokun. Patrick Mahomes was on crutches following ACL surgery. The next week, Gardner Minshew, the number 2 quarterback, also suffered a knee injury that was widely reported as another ACL. So they were down to a quarterback who was making his NFL debut, starting debut in his 4th season. So the Broncos, Sean Payton figured the only way the Broncos could lose the game is if they gave it away. Bo Nix threw an interception early. The Chiefs had a short field, only had to go 36 yards for a touchdown, and the Broncos were behind 7-3. And pretty much from then on, all the scoring drives were 14 plays, 8 minutes, 16 plays, 8 minutes, 14 plays, almost 10 minutes. And then finally on that last drive, another 14-play drive that took up almost 7 minutes. So very methodical victory for the Broncos. Kept the score close, which is dangerous, but they wound up with the win. More importantly, and that was all that mattered, is they got their 13th win. They held on to the number 1 seed. Then they watched on Saturday while they were on break the Los Angeles Chargers lose to the Houston Texans. That gave the Broncos the AFC West Division title. Quickly, the offensive player of the game, let's give that to Quinn Miners for not only his exemplary blocking up front as the right guard, but also for that set hut. And that drew Chris Jones offside and changed the field goal to a touchdown on 4th down. And so he gets our offensive player of the game. Defensive player of the game, Pat Surtain. Yeah, he gave up a couple catches to Travis Kelce, but otherwise the Broncos only gave up 66 yards passing. Surtain also tied for the team lead with 5 tackles, very unusual for a cornerback who's so good at covering to also lead the team in tackles. Let's move on now to what's ahead for the Broncos. Sean Payton said that he's, this morning in his conference call, he is going to treat the game this Sunday at Empower Field, the regular season finale, against the Chargers as a playoff game. And indeed it is. If the Broncos beat the Chargers, they will have the number 1 seed for the playoffs, and the number 1 seed means you get a first-round playoff bye. So beating the Chargers is essentially the same as winning a first-round playoff game because you don't have to play it. You don't lose that game. You move right to the second round, and you get home field advantage. So the Broncos do need the game against the Chargers. It'll be interesting to see if Jim Harbaugh, who can, I don't think he'll have the number 5 seed. If Houston wins in the earlier game against the Colts, Houston will have the number 5 seed. So the Chargers, they could play Justin Herbert, who's banged up, and maybe get the 6th seed. But all that does is get them a playoff game at Jacksonville. They could win and maybe come back to Empower Field and play the Broncos in the first round game. A 7 seed, you go to play New England. There's all those scenarios are not ideal for the Los Angeles Chargers. So why not rest Justin Herbert and get the best out of him for the playoffs? So the Broncos look like they're in great shape to get that number 1 playoff seed. If they lose to the Chargers, they'll likely finish number 3 because with the number 3 seed. And that won't have a first round playoff game. And after the first round, that will not have home field advantage because New England is likely to win their game against the Dolphins. Jacksonville likely to win its game against the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. So win and the Broncos are the number 1 seed, lose and they're the number 3 seed. I think the Broncos will take care of business. I'm not sure Jim Harbaugh will play all his starters who are banged up, including quarterback Justin Herbert. So should be a big one for the Broncos, and they've got the AFC West Division title for the first time in 10 years. They can get the number 1 seed for the first time in 10 years, and then they can play Super Bowl, maybe eventually make it to Super Bowl 60, which will be at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, California, home of the 49ers, where 10 years earlier the Broncos won Super Bowl 50. So a lot of signs pointing positively for the Broncos as they go into their regular season finale. And looks like this season got a real good chance to carry on for about 6 more weeks. We'll see about that. But we'll send it back to you. And that was thanks for paying attention and watching KLIS's Mic Drop.
Oh, we love KLIS's Mic Drop. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's been a very exciting season so far. And hopefully, fingers crossed, Mike, we still got some more to go.
That's right. Exactly.
All right. We'll see you soon. Thank you.